Hello all and welcome to another Winged Review. Now when I found out that some of the Final Fantasy games had been remade for the Game Boy Advance and DS, I really wanted to give them a go. So I got Final Fantasy 1 or 2 Dawn of Souls for the Game Boy Advance, plus 3 and 4 for the DS, and 5 and 6 I think it is for the Game Boy Advance as well. The original plan was to play 1 and 2 Dawn of Souls, play them both through to see what I thought, then replay through them to capture footage and do a 1 versus 2 for these two games, then maybe do the other ones because the thought of doing a 1 versus 2 versus 3 versus 4 versus 5 versus 6 gave me a headache. So I was just going to do these two. But then when I played through the first game, the thought of having to replay through that game really put me off. It wound me up completely. It started off fine. You have 6 classes to choose from, you pick the 4 you want, and you get the story. The worlds come into chaos, there's 4 elemental crystals, and you have to purify them in order to stop Mr. Bad Guy from destroying the place, pretty much. So it started off and it was fine, wandering around, defeating a few baddies, getting some money, leveling up, usual RPG stuff. I like that sort of thing, it was great, exploring, lovely job, brilliant. I got stuck every now and again, but there was a woman you could talk to, and she would give you hints and tips on where you needed to go. Lovely. The monster encounter rate was a tad on the high side, but I got through it. It got a little bit annoying at times, but it was fine. I got through it. No problem. And then I got access to a boat, got access to the whole world. Like, yes, exploration. I love exploration. I had a look around. It was brilliant. And then it was just downhill from there, really. It just didn't do anything right for me. It just annoyed me most of the time. I gave up several times just because it annoyed me so much. I did go back to it. I used a guide several times. The main problems I had with it was the high enemy encounter rate. You couldn't go 4 or 5 steps without getting into a fight. So if you're wanting to level up, fine, lovely jubbly. If you actually wanted to get through a dungeon or a cave or something or get somewhere, it was a nightmare. It just dragged things out so much. It got to the stage where I was having so many fights. I had so much money I couldn't spend it. Nothing was too expensive. I'd go into a shop and it would be a case of, you want some spells? Here's these really expensive ones. I'll have that one, that one, that one, that one, and those 3. Here you go. It was just easy. I had no problems with the money and I was so over level. Bosses just fell. It was so easy. And when I used a guide, I think it said it was something like the recommended level was about 30, I was in my high 40s or something like that. I was about 15-20 levels above the recommended. So the monster rate, it got annoying, particularly as, although the woman who gave you the hints and stuff, she was great early on. No, she was really helpful. When you leave that area and get access to the boat and go around the place, she's got nothing more she can tell you, and there is no one else to give you hints on where you need to go. So you either have to hope you've stumbled across a random NPC who just gives you a random nugget of information that you can use, or you stumble across where you need to be. And I hate having to do that. I love exploration, but just randomly wandering around hoping to stumble across where you need to be is annoying, particularly with the high enemy encounter rate. I got there eventually, I went round, and what was even more annoying, another bit of the exploration, you can come across all these caves and everything, you venture through, and I got a few, when I did the first level, this thing happened, a cave opened, and it was like, okay, so maybe that's where I need to be, so I went to this cave and went in there, went through it, and I struggled to get through it, but I got to the end, and there were these bosses, I got absolutely slaughtered, and it turned out that that was an optional endgame boss that I shouldn't be doing yet, and like, how the hell was I supposed to know? And when all that way, you didn't have the spell to warp you out of dungeons. I didn't get it until quite late in the game. It didn't become available at all. So any time I came across a dungeon, thought I'll have a look in there, I'd get to the end, realise I didn't need to be there yet, and then had to walk all the way back out again because I couldn't warp yet. And with the high enemy encounter rate, it was pissing annoying, and it happened several times. I don't necessarily say that you need to be spoon-fed everything and told this is exactly where you need to go, what you need to do, but just some indication of roughly where I need to be, what I need to do, something to help me get through the game without just having to hope to stumble across it. So I used to walk through a few times. There's some stuff I never would have either gone to, or it's just these random little places where you'd walk past, but you'd never think to actually, you can see it. So you think, well, why would I go in there? I can see it. And particularly if you go in there once, nothing happens, so you leave and that's it. But then later on in the game, you do need to go in there for a cutscene to take place, for something to happen. So it's like, well, how are you supposed to know? But anyway, I got through it. I did all of the dungeons. I got the upgradey thing. I think I was really over leveled, about 20 odd levels. I got to the end. I think I got to the end. I did all the 4 crystals, did some stuff, got sent to some place. I just didn't care. I mean, the 4 characters you choose, they are silent characters, so they never say anything, so there is no character development, there's no personality, there is nothing, and I just didn't care. And when I was trying to go through it, I did stop playing it again just because the game, again, height, encounter rate, exploration, all that. I went back to it and I just didn't care, so that's when I gave up with the first one. So, I was close to the end, I got through most of it, but I just didn't care. The music to it was brilliant. There's some very good tracks to it. It's got a very, very good soundtrack. I got to a few places, and a few of the tunes I started humming. Some of them I've even been tempted to try and download because it's got a brilliant soundtrack. So it's a shame that the rest of it just didn't work for me. I'm sure I saw the completionist's review of it, or his thing, a little while ago, and he does also say that yes, he did the PSP version. The enemy encounter rate is a bit high, but he seemed to get through it all right with everything that was going on. But it just annoyed me too much to carry on. I have started the second one now, which seems a bit better, so we'll see how that goes. But as far as the first one goes, I didn't enjoy it. I started to enjoy it, but with the combination of the high enemy encounter rate and having to wander around hoping to stumble across where you need to be and all that, it just bugged me, annoyed me, and I will not be doing this game ever again. Hopefully the second one will be better. See you next time.